energy. Living legends are reaching me. Sharing knowledge with you and me. Teaching us how to lead with Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. On the run. Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. On the run. Yeah. Keep on building that synergy. One month at a time, you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One month at a time, you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One month at a time, you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One month at a time, you and me.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Sharon Lee's on the run again. Happy Friday. Rate it, share it, do what you do to connect with us today because we are in our second season of the Sharon Lee Briefing podcast show, podcast show, and we also are in our third episode, guys. It's been a morning. I'm just so excited. Y'all may have caught me over there on Facebook Live, so I'm kind of already hyped up, and I just want to get a little hyper. Okay, so I want y'all to, do what you do best. You know how we do it every Friday around lunchtime. We laugh, we learn, and we lead, guys. And we do that on the Sharon Lee Briefing podcast show every other Friday now. We laugh, we learn, and we lead. So you are going to be in for a wonderful treat today because you're going to be laughing your you-know-what off. But before we get into all the logistics of the show and the segments, y'all know how we normally do it, but let me just give you a few ground rules. If you're coming over there from Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, guys, you know what to do. Put your name in the comments, put your questions in the comment, but also let me know who's actually making the comment. Share your name because you're going to have an opportunity to win some wonderful prizes. And I would love, love, love to know who's putting their name or putting their comments in the chat. Remember, always put your name. If you're over there on YouTube, you know what my channel is. It's the Leading Within with Sharon Lee. That's right. So you can watch the podcast over there and you can also watch it here on Facebook. So I'm extremely happy to be, just celebrating another podcast show, but I also want to give thanks to our sponsors as well. I want to thank Smart Video Girl, Krista Glenn, for always, showing up, always representing us on the podcast show. She's with us for the second season. So whoop, whoop. It makes my life a whole lot easier. And thank you, Chris. Thank you. Hi, Maria. Thank you for always joining. I also want to thank Sean Parker. Sean, I got you. I got your text. I got you. So just know that we're going to be hooking up the conference information in September. So you are confirmed, and I got you. Also, I want to thank your wife, Dana Parker, who did our theme song, Sharon Lee on the Run, the Sharon Lee theme song. Dana, thank you as always. I want to thank Lisa Dove Washington for always supporting and being a sponsor. And I also want to thank, all of those who have come back to watch us during the second season, because guys, this is really about, like I say, exhaling from the world and just, laughing, learning, and then also leading after we learn the information that we're going to learn. So, guys, I'm about to do it. I am going to bring up our guests, but I want her just to give us just a little bit about who she is because we're going to get into the whole program. You know how it goes, guys. We do the introduction, then we share what the video production is of her journey, of our guest journey, and then we get into, what they're doing in today's time. And then the special segment of the show is what's your on the run story. So you're going to hear her on the run story. And then at the end, of course, we do a little commercials here and there, and we give gifts for you all to win stuff. And then we close with how you all can get in contact with our famous guest so that she can get back to you. So I'm going to just let's get started. At this time, Chris, I would like to bring up no other than our guest for the third episode of the Sharon Lee Briefing Podcast Show, Platinum Marilyn Franklin.
Hey, Sharon. Hey, I just want to begin by just to say thank you for
You're
this
welcome.
opportunity. Well, what I want to say about me? Well, I'm an actress, I'm a comedian, I'm a speaker, coach, entrepreneur. Sometimes I say I'm just a jack of all trades and I'm going to be a master of one.
That's all right. You know what? You are so much more than your titles. And that's what we're going to talk about today. On the Sharon Lee Briefing Podcast Show, we get to know you as your core. Who is Platinum? Who is Marilyn Franklin? Who are you? How did you get started? I don't know who DNG3 is, but thank you, Whoop Whoop, for coming on. Put your name in there so we go. Oh, Dr. D. Thank you, Dr. D. Welcome back. She was our guest last week. A week before last, and man, she knocked it out of the park. So we already know you're going to do the same. So yeah, we just want to know who you are. We want to know the core of who you are. So let's give them a little taste of who you really are. Let's start with the community side. Let's make them laugh today, because remember, this is about laughing, learning, and leading. And since you are a Christian comedian, bring it.
Oh, well, let's see. I always like to kind of start off my show. I say, people always ask me, do blondes have more fun? I tell them, I don't know, because I got black roots. And, having black roots, I tell my group I ate a whole lot of chicken, so much chicken. When I graduated from high school, I received a 4-year scholarship to Purdue University. But another thing I like to say, people always ask me, when I tell them I'm a comedian, tell them, make me laugh. I tell them salvation is free, but my joke's going to cost you because you passed the plate.
Love it.
So, I just love doing comedy. I think I've done comedy all my life. Sometimes I just tell stories, don't mean to make people laugh, but they end up laughing just by the way I, deliver my message. And I'm just excited to be, here. And I guess as we go on, sometimes I feel like I'm getting put on the spot. But, another thing I like to say, I'm retired now. Thank God, retired in 2018. But before I retired, at one point in my career, I said I was going to retire because of health reasons. They were sick of me and I was tired of them. But I pray every day. I said, dear Heavenly Father, I say, I love my good government job. It's just getting them going to work I got a problem with.
You know what, Platinum, you are just a born natural. And the fact that you love just sharing and telling, stories at times, that's what it's all about, guys. Y'all know what ROSA stands for. It's remembering our ancestors, synergistic association. And every platform that we do it, to recognize our past, our legends of the past, those who are unsung heroes of the day. And Platinum is talking about storytelling. That's what they did back in the day. They sat around the community and they told stories of the past, so people could never ever forget the struggle, the challenges, and the successes, guys. Always the successes of how they were able to stay together, engage, and just keep the community strong and just going forward, looking for the next generation. So with that being said, Platinum, we have a gift for you, and we hope and pray you like this gift. Okay. But it's a legacy piece that we give all of our podcast guests, when they come on our show. Guys, one thing about this podcast show, you're going to walk away with a piece of legacy that will last forever. Amen. You can share it with your family, your friends, your coworkers, your potential clients, the world. This legacy piece is your story, and it will last forever. With Amen. That being said, Chris, could you bring up her gift?
Ain't that something?
That's the kind of reaction we want. That's what we want. That's exactly what we want. Did it tell your story?
Amen. Amen. And then some.
Thank you, Miss Debbie. Miss D said, very, very nice. She really, really liked it. Um,
Oh,
that's really what it's all about, Platinum. It's really you sharing your journey. You're sharing how you overcame challenges. You sharing your on the run story, and also you sharing your success stories. So let's start back from the beginning. Okay, we're not going to get into again the titles right now, but let's talk about your early beginning. Where are you from? Where's your parents from? Are they still living? How many siblings do you have? Talk about that.
all right. I am a Washingtonian. Except when I talk, sometimes people ask me where you from? Like, it make me feel like I'm a Martian or something. But I'm a Washingtonian. My mom and father are both deceased. My father
I'm
passed
sorry to hear
away
that.
in 2000. My mom in 2012. Uh, it was five of us. Now there's only four of us. My youngest brother, I'm the youngest of five, but the youngest brother, he passed away on my birthday in 87. And um, I say my beginning start, I grew up in the projects of Hawking Place in DC, Southeast DC. And I remember once I did something a while back, about 2 years ago for Black History. I said, instead of talking about everybody else, I'm going to talk about me. So every day I gave a little known Black History fact about me. I thought
Awesome.
that was really cute. You know what I'm saying? But I guess where it all kind of really started, as a kid, I guess I would say I was a little promiscuous. And
Not you, Platinum. No, say it ain't so.
it ain't so. It ain't so. But in the eighth grade, I'm out there cutting class and, being grown, kind of sound like Helen Bella now. You doing all the things I think I was grown enough to do. And I end up had to repeat the eighth grade.
Wait,
And so
hold
I
on,
went
hold
to
on,
the
hold
Q.
on, hold on, because we haven't gotten to the segment of the on the run story yet. Okay,
Oh,
we
okay,
haven't
okay,
gotten to that
okay,
segment yet, so
okay.
don't be jumping the gun
Oh,
on us
okay.
now.
Well, yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. Started in Hawkins. Like I said, I'm the youngest of five. Went to DC public schools. We moved to Maryland when I was about 17, but I still finished out, the public school in DC because I didn't have but one more year by the time we moved out to Maryland. But yeah, I had my daughter when I was 17 years old. So I had a daughter. But one thing in that journey, well, that probably part of on the run story. But yeah, but always, I guess since I was a kid, I always loved motivating people. Since I was about 9 years old. Well, probably all my life, but nine when I start noticing I'm doing stuff for other people.
Well, I tell you, it's wonderful. I can tell it by your kind spirit. First of all, I want to thank those who already know Platinum, those who are out there who are supporting her. I met you through Sir Charles Carey. I'm sure Sir Charles Carey met you through somebody, and
Black in government where I first saw y'all.
oh wow. So we've been really staying connected with you because we see how genuine you are about wanting people to smile, guys. That's what it's really all about. You want people to be happy. There's so much going on in the world, so much division, so much confusion. If we can make you smile, especially on a Friday, that's what we want to do. So Platinum, I just want to thank you for just being here and sharing your beautiful story with us and that beautiful smile of yours. So we're going to start off now with just your profession. When you got out of high school, what industry did you want to get into? Hey, Cynthia.
Well, I look back, I always knew that I wanted to get into fashion design, really.
Okay.
Fashion design, but we moved to Maryland because I went to Burdick, which was way up northwest.
Okay.
And so I knew I always wanted, I'm a creative person. So I wanted to get into fashion design. I guess I learned how to sew in junior high school. And I really just fell in love with it because I used to make clothes for not only myself, but my neighbor. And
Wow.
I had a sheet and I made her the skirt out of the sheet. And she said she went to the club and she got so many compliments. And she was like, this is a sheet my girlfriend made for me. And I made her a nightgown because I had made this shirt nightgown. That was one of the first things I learned how to sew. And she'd be like, oh, I want one. So I made her one. And so I just, like I said, I just love making people feel good. You know what I mean? It makes me feel good to make people feel good.
And that's a wonderful thing.
Left out. You know what I mean?
Totally, totally. And it's kind of funny because I tell everyone, in my book, I wrote True Synergy Work, Leading Within, the 7 Defining Principles of Knowing Yourself to Birth Greatness. The synergy I just heard in you just now was that you wanted to be a fashion designer. Guess what? I did too. At a young age, I wanted to really create African garments, but I didn't want to create the ones that I saw back in the day. I wanted it to be sexy and classy and unique. And I was like, I don't know if I can do that, and I just gave it up. But I've seen so many, fashion designers do that today. So it just made me connect with you even more because that's really what I had in common with you. So I also want to share. Okay, now that you wanted to make clothes, what took you on the path of being a comedian?
Now that came when I had this void in my life, and I was like, "What is this void?" And I'm thinking this a husband because I wasn't married, still ain't married, but I was thinking it was a husband. I'm like, because I pretty much had everything else. I was working, I'm driving a car, just some of the basic necessities. So I'm like, that's got to be the only thing. I got a child, so that ain't it. And then one day and I just cried out to God. And I'm like, why am I here? And I tell people, I say, look, you even need to tell me why I'm here, Lord, or you need to take me. But I say with one eye open, making sure I want to see. And I was a trustee at my church, and the lady, so one of the ministers, so it was sunrise service. So she was preaching, look who's talking. And so when I closed up the church and I'm driving down the road, I said, Lord, she said, look who's talking. I want to know who's talking. What am I supposed to be doing here? I don't understand. I'm still waiting. I can't hear from you. And I just clearly heard him say, you're an actress. Like, let's start out acting first.
Okay.
About two years before I got into comedy.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm an actress? And we're so interested. I used to love watching Shirley Temple and acting out. And so it was just like, okay. And so I just heard the spirit say, well, tell your sister. So I shared it. Then the next day I was going to work. I heard an audition on the radio.
Oh, wow.
So I said, oh, let me write it down. I got all of them but that last digit. And I'm like, come back on the radio. So I didn't get it till the next day. And I got the number and I called a lady. She says, I said, I'm answering your ad for actresses or whatever. And she says, so we talked for a good little while. She said, I know exactly who I want you to play. And so I went and meet with her, and I worked with her for like 3 years.
So who did you play?
I played a character by the name of Sharon, which had a platinum wig at the time.
Oh, wow.
A platinum bush wig. And it was a comedic part, too. And so she was just this Christian woman, and it was a husband and wife team, and they had gotten saved. So the husband was being serious about it, but the wife was still kind of had one foot in. And then she met a young lady who liked to party. So the wife was kind of hanging out. So Miss Shutane wanted her to be her best friend. Okay. And so she would follow her around because she was her neighbor.
Okay. So how long have you been a comedian now? How many years?
Since all my life, but when I claimed it, I would say about 2000, because the first show I put on was, matter of fact, 2 weeks after September 11th.
Wow.
I did at my church. I said, let's do a comedy show. So that was like my first kind of opening up with it. And it happened 2 weeks. Well, we had planned it before September 11th happened.
Yes, of course.
And so it was 2 weeks after September 11th. And we had a full house.
Wow.
And matter of fact, September 11th, me and right where I met you in Sir Charles in Las Vegas, we were in the air going to Las Vegas on September 11th.
Wow, isn't that something? Yeah. But I tell you, that's why I started off the show with laughing, learning, and leading, because people don't know how it's a revolving door, because so much has happened, and it's like continuous now. And we just need someone like you to be out there to make them feel a little better, to put a smile on their face as we deal with, life tragedy. So again, kudos to you.
Yeah, because the church secretary wanted to cancel. I'm like, cancel? This is what people need now with all this tragedy. They need some laughter.
Yes.
And we ended up getting a packed house. And then after that, that following year, I said, well, I'm gonna do my own. Well, I try to go to the comedy clubs, and of course they was like, well, you gotta be at least out here 8, 10 years. I'm like, you don't know a sister. Cause see, hey, look, I used to throw quarter parties when we were young. You know what I mean? We clean out the basement, throw quarter parties.
Hello.
I'm like, hey, I can give me an audience, because and so I did my first Mother Day show I put on, and it was just kind of went on from there.
Well, I tell you, I am so, again, I know the audience is loving it and everything, and I'm loving it. We're going to do a little commercial break here for a second. Then we're going to talk about you being an author.
Okay.
When was your first, second, third? I don't know when it's going to be your fourth, fifth, sixth books, whatever it's going to take. We're gonna figure it out. But guys, I want you all who are really, really, doing what we like to say at Rosa. Our keyword in Rosa is remember. Remember what's being shared with you, because that's how you are learning, and that's how you're able to, share it down to the next generation. So for those who out there watching, I want Chris to play Rosa's video, and I want y'all to look in the video and tell me who you may recognize in this video. If you can name 3 to 4 people, you're going to win a gift. But you gotta remember who you're looking at. So guys, keep in mind, Rosa's been building synergy with organizations, with different people since 2008 for 15 years. But the creativity is just creeping into me over the years to be able to, bring it all together. So I hope you all like this. So Chris, if you could show us the video production for Rosa's 10th annual Leading Within conference. Guys, remember, 3 or 4 people that you can recognize in the video, please put it in the comment, and the first one to get it right is going to win a gift. And I'll tell you once Chris show the production. Somebody not playing over here. Is that Dr. D done put at least 4 people in the comment? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Congratulations. You are a winner, my dear. You are a winner. Chris, if you could bring up the flyer for the book reading on September 9th, please bring that up. Thank you. Congratulations. You have won a seat at the second book reading for the True Synergy Leading Within book reading that we're going to have over a very, very, very wonderful VIP person, Lynn Simpson, who's also going to be doing our travel arrangements for all that we do for Puerto Rico. And then we're working with another contractor as well. But you're going to be going to Largo, Maryland, not far from where the conference is going to be, on the week before our actual 10th annual on September 9th. So congratulations. Everyone give Dr. D a round of applause. Congratulate her. Populate the chat. Let her know how lucky she is, because we had our first book reading last weekend at our VIP sponsor, Valoria Evans. And guys, it was phenomenal. We had people crying. We had people laughing. We had people just sharing their legacy. And that's what keeps us in conjunction with what we do on the podcast show. We're in sync in building synergy by sharing our story. So congratulations. Awesome. So now let's talk Platinum about you being an author. Okay. When did you write your first book?
The first book, like 98.
98.
Wow. Called is right over here, Heavenly Inspiration. I wrote that in 98, and then I revised it in 2004 when I did, which is the book you see here. They the same, and I did His Eyes Are Upon Me, so I revised it, and here's what I have here. And it's so interesting. You said remember.
Yes.
And before I wrote this book, I actually have a poem in here called Remember.
Wow.
And that I had written. So the original book was done in 2004. Actually, I have a kid book that I probably written in the early 90s.
Okay.
Still in that drawer over there. Got another book still in the drawer over there.
Okay.
So I'm kind of a little bit of a procrastinator. And I wrote my first children book. It's called My First Day of School. And I know I must have wrote that in the early 90s. And I actually got this Hispanic lady to interpret it in Spanish for me too. So I had the English.
Hey, Puerto Rico, y'all hear that?
Got anybody to well, my nephew was supposed to draw the graphics for me. He never drew the graphics for me.
That's okay.
It kind of got, so it's still sitting over there.
So how many books total have you written?
So you got 1, 2. So it looks like 4, and then I got a whole list of other books I need to write.
Well, guess what? You got 4 books, and that is a major, major accomplishment. Guys, let's congratulate Platinum on writing her book. Platinum is also going to be at Rose's 10th annual Leading Within conference. She's going to have her books there. She's going to be, have a vendor's table there. So please stop by, support her, buy her book, because this woman is phenomenal. And I tell you, just thanking God that Sir Charles connected, you and everything just with the community, because he shared all of what you do on his show. And, Desktop Discussion, I believe the show was, and he got another show coming up with you in it as well. So you are popular, young lady, and you're going to be sharing your story with the world.
It is interesting because, like I said, I met y'all at Blacks in the Government. And then he was doing at Starbucks in Penmark.
Yes.
And when I said, well, he in my area, because I didn't know y'all was in my area. And I said,
okay.
well, I'm going to go see him. And when I got there, come to find out, I line danced with his niece.
Oh, wow. Nicole.
I'm like, it's here. She was like, that's my uncle. I'm like, small.
Oh, isn't that amazing? So you never know how you're connected, right?
Yeah, I was like, wow, small world.
It is. See, guys, that's what it's all about. So, all right, we're going to get now into some of the people that you've engaged with in the comedy world now, because we went through your video production. We saw some phenomenal people in that video production. So tell us of some of those people that you connected with.
Well, when I first started doing comedy, like I said, I did my first comedy event was September 11th. So I guess that was 2001. That following month, I was blessed to go to Puerto Rico and do some comedy. I was blessed to do one of the guys that I was acting with. He was in the Navy, and he introduced me to a young lady, and I end up, and she told her Chapman or something about us. He ended up calling us over there. We got to go over there twice. I got to open up a show with Andre Crouch. My girlfriend was in California. Wow. It was like, hey, we doing, because they were doing a fundraiser for some of the seminary students. And she said, we got Andre Crouch. It'd be so nice if you can come. I say what? Let us pray. And next thing I was buying me tickets. I got Andre Crouch. I got to open up with Vicky Yohe. I got to open up with Lisa McClendon. I've been on the set with Marette Brown Clark. I think it's Brown Clark. So, I mean, God has blessed me to interact with quite a bit of people. The late Joe Recker. So, like you said, your gift will make room for you. Willie Jolly. I did Willie Jolly early 2000. Wow. And then I was blessed to be on his show back in June, late June and early July.
Yes.
So, yeah, he just said, hey, Platinum, I just asked the Lord, how can I bless you? How can I, elevate you a little bit? I'm like, hey, say what? Right. And I'm so glad. And Michael Collier, another comedian friend that I met, she said, hey, I gave your name to him. I'm like, what? And he called me, and then he called me another time. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Wow. She said, he's going to call you personally. So I got to be on his show, as a
Wonderful.
guest. So, like I said, God make room for you.
Yes, he does. And I'm gonna tell you something. Two things I want to talk about. One, I love the way that you talked about those who help you in your journey.
Oh yeah.
So for the podcast show, what we do, we when we bring on our guests, guys, y'all don't understand. This is free advertisement one-on-one.
Right.
We send out newsletters. We blast you on social media and everything. We do video promos of you. We put your legacy out there. So those who really understand how it is to share one another's stories, if you like from me, old school back in the day, you get it. You get it that we all need one another to inspire one another. So I just want you, I'm glad you shared that, but I also want to talk about, you mentioned Willie Jolly, you did his show. Mm-hmm. Now, it's two things I've noticed about you since I met you.
Okay.
You're a comedian, mm-hmm. a Christian guy's comedian, clean jokes. You're an author. You're an entrepreneur. And you can sing, woman, you can sing. Okay. I heard you sing for the first time at Sir Charles' event, and then I you didn't sing at. Did you sing at Willie Jolly's event or not?
I don't know if I did at the one. I might have did one.
Well, can you cut a tune for us? Can you cut a tune for us?
Hey, look, this was Murray's Wells' old song, and I just tell people I got 3 lovers. I got 3 lovers and I ain't ashamed. 3 lovers and I love them all the same. Let me tell you about my first lover. He created the heavens and earth. He knew me before my birth. And he really, really loved me. I said he really, really loves me. They say ho, 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 'cause they don't know. Ho, 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 'cause they don't know.
So the 3 lovers, guys, she said she got 3 lovers, guys. Sometimes it's a little risky. I'm gonna put my mic on. Do you have 3 lovers? Tell us who those lovers are, baby.
I know that's right. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. I remember a lady at church told me I couldn't. She said I couldn't sing. Like, now wait a minute. Now I may not be a lead singer, but I can hold a tune.
You can hold a tune.
Oh yeah, we used to be out there when we were kids. We were, like I said, very creative. The little soda top.
Yes.
That you doing cans. Well, we would go around and collect those. And then we put them together on a hanger and they would be our tambourine. And we'd be out there on the corner singing. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough. Keep me from you. Ain't no mountain high enough.
We're laughing, guys, and loving it.
River wide enough. So we used to be out there singing.
I love it.
Yeah. So
I love it.
Like, now, come on, girl.
All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring your video up one more time because, we've been having some wonderful engagement here. I'm an introvert. I like to listen to people and I could talk to you all day, but you got those extroverts out there that likes to see the story. Okay. So we show them at the top of the show. We like to show them in the middle of the show. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about your on the run story. And then we're going to get into the other professional side of your life and everything. But Chris, if you could show her her legacy production again, please. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
y'all got to
you.
give me a copy of that.
I know. Tell you, when you stay behind, we're going to do a little, photo op at the end of the show. So you're going to be in the
Okay.
green room. So don't hang up when you leave.
Right,
So
right. Hey,
we
see
got
that little
people.
logo up there in that corner? I kind of helped modify that a little bit.
So you know what? Let me
Thank
tell y'all
you,
something. Let me tell
Marcus.
you something about our sponsors and our guests and our, friends and stuff. They, I'm the most luckiest person on the planet Earth because when you can just call someone up and say, "Hey, I need a little help. I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm working on this 10th annual conference. I got to work on sponsors. I got to work on my speakers, my authors, my vendors, also my honorees, and I just need a little help. Can you help?" Tweak my Rosa logo. And Platinum said, "Sure, send it over here. I can do something with it." I said, "What you gonna do with it?" I said, "I don't know." She's like, "Just send it over here." I said, "But can you make sure more is in there?" And she said, "What does more mean?" And I said, "It means making opportunities reachable for everyone. So Rosa
Yeah.
more. We want some more Rosa because we want some more legacy." So she took the logo that had I think a yellow background, and she put in a transparency. I'm not sure how you did it, but I love it. So we are branding the new logo for Rosa, which is the hands going up. Lord, help keep our hands up so we can live. And
I know that's right.
and then we're thank you, Chris. Because that's what it's all about. We just want to live. We just want to be able to tell our legacy. We just want to level up more so we can help more people who, need help in the world. So thanks
Amen.
to you, Platinum, for creating that for us. And God is good. God is so good.
All the time. All the time. All the
Thank you,
time.
thank you, thank you. So let's jump into it, Platinum. You talked a lot about being a comedian.
Mhm,
Talked
mhm.
about where you were from. You talked about also, what you initially wanted to do before you became a comedian, and then you talked also about. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. D. And you also mentioned that you wanted to, you talked about being an author and all of that.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I want you to. I shared with you that as a civil rights baby,
Okay.
born in 1963, and I'm not ashamed of it. I was born the same year that Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. I mean, Dr. Martin Luther King had the March on Washington because he was assassinated 5 years later in
Yeah.
1968.
I
But
got a story on that one.
woo, and I can't wait to hear it. But the March on Washington, I
Mhm.
was just born a couple of months earlier in May,
Okay.
and the
Mhm.
march was in August. So I'm oblivious to the world.
Yeah.
Don't understand what's going on. Racism was not like a word that a baby
Right. Right.
whatever. Even at 5 years old, it's like I don't know what that means. Can I get some candy? Can I get some milk? Can I do something? My point is that born in that era,
Mhm.
you go through challenges
Right.
that you have no control over. But you have to overcome those challenges so that you can be a better person in life. And that's what
Mhm.
a lot of people, I believe, did in the civil rights era. And even today, and even prior to the civil rights era, wanted just to live and overcome challenges so they can be a productive person and citizen
Right.
in society. So you shared with me that when you were in school, and this is your on the run story,
Okay.
I believe you were in either middle school,
Junior
what
high. Yeah, they call it junior high in DC.
okay, junior high. Tell us what your on the run story was when you were in junior high.
Well, I kind of started off, like I said, I was out there cutting school, hanging out with my friends, thinking, fall in the crowd. And so when it came time to, end of the school year, getting my final grade, it's like, you stand back. I'm like, what? And I was like, so I tried to get my teacher to let me go to summer school. And she said, no. She said, summer school for people who tried and couldn't get it. You
Mm,
just out there cutting up. And that for me was a turning point in my life. It was just like my life stopped moving in slow motion, and I realized, this is not dress rehearsal. This is the real deal. This is your life, and you get to set, the tone of it. And so at that point, the very next year, I got awards for the most improved student. And so my
wonderful.
thing from then on was just look forward, look forward, look forward. And so that was always because I guess I always had a dream of where I wanted to be. Always
Yes.
dreamed of this big old house with spiral steps. So, I had a dream, but sometimes you can get with the crowd and you're trying to act like the crowd.
Yes.
and you find yourself, I don't know, I guess they passed. I know I didn't. So I was upset with my teacher, but in hindsight, I look back, that was
Okay.
what they call tough love. So
Yes.
that was a teacher said, I'm not gonna just pass you to pass you. I'm gonna pass you if you earned it. And since you didn't earn it,
Ah,
I'm keeping you back. And
wow.
so from that grade forward, it was just like it was on. And I ended up just going to night school for my 12th grade English because I had enough credits to graduate my correct year, which was 78. I'm a little older than you.
Okay.
Because I'm born in 59. I'm a baby
Okay.
boomer too. And so I graduate, and my whole concept at that point was I don't want to have to go back to move forward.
There you go.
So, because when I got out of school, I didn't want to go to college. I'm just glad to get out. And I was listening to Dr. D, and I said, and I admire people who, they really go get education. And I read and do all that stuff, but back then I didn't understand. And I remember reading a book maybe about a year ago, and you know how subconsciously things going on you that you don't really understand.
Yes.
So, I said not nothing because I was raised in a single family home. But what I realized in my home, we were not taught to be the best we could be
Mm.
or to work with the spirit of excellence. Now, she didn't
Mm.
say work, just, go, take your GED, take your civil service, whatever you do, and just go to work, get in the
Yes.
government.
Yes.
Eventually,
Yes.
I did get in the government. But when I thought about it, as I'm looking back, I say I was never taught to be excellent.
Mm.
Never taught to be the best I can be. Just do what you need to do to get by and get a job.
Yeah.
And so I think eventually that stuff really affects you. Because I remember my girlfriend once said, "You're afraid of success."
Mm.
So, and I was like, can't be, can't be. But I guess deep down inside, when I kind of read up on what does it mean to be afraid of success, from what I read, sometimes it can be what you're gonna lose. So
Ah.
you're not gonna do the best you can do because you don't something in your past you don't want to lose.
Okay.
Kind of like you want to, like the kids in the class, they're really smart, but they hang with their friends, so they dumb down
Right. Right. Right.
them. So I think fear of success sort of works in that realm somewhat the same way.
So being held back changed your life to the point where you want to do everything that you could do to be a better person, and at that time you just started just living to be living because you wanted to have a job, you wanted to feed yourself, you wanted a place to lay your head, but it also kept you focused in your purpose, correct?
Right.
Because
Well, I didn't know my purpose then, but yeah, I knew it was my purpose not to stay back there. That didn't feel good. So
right.
that was not a good feeling. So it's like, no. So you're gonna finish high school. I don't care if you had a baby or not. You're gonna finish school. And I didn't go to college right away. I worked a few little penny ante jobs, and I'm like, oh heck to the no. This is not me.
Yeah.
And so I took some training and I did get into the government. So
Good.
I started out as doing a clerk typist. And I'm
Okay.
like, I just barely made the typing trouble. I just got in the door by my chinny chin chin. Because I think you had to pass the test. I did do that. But you had to type at least 40 and 3 errors back then. So I had 40, I
Mm.
think 40 and 2. So I just made it in. But them typing skills came in handy that I learned in high school. But
Okay.
then I understood. So as I got into government, I knew I ain't want to retire as no secretary. I'm like, bump this. Even though I'm
Right.
a people person, I'm very organized. But I'm like, that ain't it. So I started taking every training that I could take. Anything came up that I qualified for, I was in it. And so eventually I got me a degree. Well, I got me an associate degree, and then I got a certification from Howard School of Continuing Education. So by the time I left the government, I ended up making 6 figures. I'm like, bump this. I
Wow.
remember before I moved over what they call the professional field, I remember the head secretary telling me, I can't wait till you get back from your detail. And I looked her smack dead in her eye and said, boo, I ain't coming back. And I didn't come back. I never looked back, and I didn't come back. I told, don't wait on me because I ain't coming back.
Wow.
And
Well,
I moved on. And like I said, so, I left the government making 6 figures, ended up being a program analyst, managing contracts. But I knew that still wasn't what God called me to do. It was just a means to
Mm,
an end. You know what I mean?
yes.
Having my child early, that was just a means to the end. And so, like I said, so it was somewhere in mid of my career is when I started feeling this emptiness. So, like I said, I started out as an actress. I've done like 5 commercials. I've been in a movie, but it was just hard to kind of do those commercials because I didn't drive to work. And, Hollywood, the acting, that's sort of like hurry up and wait. They want you to hurry up and get there to wait.
Right,
But then you
right.
get there and wait, and your interview is only like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So,
I tell you,
oh,
I,
so that
I
got to be a kind of a bit much. So that's when I kind of stepped away from, and I said, well, I can do the comedy because that's something I can do on my own time, somewhat.
yes. Well, I tell you, it's amazing what I'm hearing because you never know how your story is so in common with so many other stories and how similar it is. And I can contest to, I had the same walk of life, had a
Mhm.
child when I was in high school. Unfortunately, I was when I got my first job, it was, at McDonald's. My
Yeah,
McDonald's was
yeah,
my first
waiting.
job.
Mhm,
And I
mhm.
got that job just to make ends meet. And then I went
That's
down
right.
to a direct mail company and I went to another direct mail company. I said, you know what, bump this. I need to get benefits, right? So I went to apply for a government job. I could only get an internship at the
Mhm.
Department of Agriculture back in the day. And
Right.
then I was like, okay, they wanted to hire me in permanent in a cable department, but I had to go through a background check,
Right.
passed the background check, and my sister called, said, girl, you need to come over here to HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
That's what I did. My first job was at Hub, but that was the temporary one.
Wow, that's that synergy, guys. We're talking synergy. That's why I love sharing
It
my
was
book.
temporary.
Because
Then I went over to Park Service, and I retired from EPA.
so the great thing about your story is, and the great thing that so many stories like you are out there, where how someone gave us a chance to
Mhm.
do better in life, and
That's
we
right.
took advantage of that chance in a sense of a good way, just kept on bettering ourselves, working on ourselves. And I tell you, I haven't retired yet, but I have the
Okay.
same story that you have, because I went from a clericus intern to a
Hmm.
professional now in project
Yeah.
management, and now I'm 35 years in and still want to learn,
I'm
learn, learn, and
34.
learn.
Yeah,
I
I'm
still want to
34.
learn. So
Amen.
I want to thank you for that, Chris. We're gonna give some tickets away because we've been enjoying Platinum's story. She just told us about her on the run story. If you could bring up our flyers for the 10th annual Leading Within conference, I'm going to give someone another opportunity to win something. So if thank you for bringing up the speakers one. Perfect, perfect. Guys, you all should know these fabulous people. Let me tell you, each one of these wonderful, beautiful people are leading from within, and they're definitely doing it based
All
on our
right.
theme, which is leveling up more. Tanya Johnson, Dr. Teresa A. Mosley, Delana Watkins, Amanda Stewart, Dr. Charles Wheeler the Fourth, Willie Taylor, Dwayne Sims. I think his name is Pearl Hassan or Hakan. And I'm just letting y'all know these people are out there really, really learning about the history,
Mm.
sharing their story, but most importantly, making it about the next generation. For
Amen.
those who can put in the chat where Platinum is from, where was she born, you're going to get a VIP early bird ticket. And guys, I just left the hotel this morning. I know Chris, if you could put the other flyer up that's side by side, if you could, with the males and the females, with the ancestors in the back, that would be great too. So guys, you'll win a VIP ticket, an early bird VIP ticket. Here it is. That's one of them. Perfect. With it's a $90 value, and you're going to get breakfast on us free at the hotel. You get the lunch on us free at the hotel. We'll be at the DoubleTree by the Hilton on September 16th. So the first one that can put in chat where Platinum is from, you're going to win a seat at Rosa's 10th annual Leading Within conference. Rosa's 10th annual Leading Within conference. The first one that can put it in chat. I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes to think about where she's from. Oh, someone said I need a ticket. Okay, I hear you, Dr. D. I know because you're bringing it. You're one of your I think your sister-in-law is coming. Dr. D got her ticket. Dr. D has her ticket. You got it. That's it. That's from Washington D.C.
Amen.
Congratulations, congratulations. I tell you guys, you don't get better than this when you can come on, support your sisters in love with what they're doing to add value in the community.
That's
So
right.
now we're going to get back into the interview with you, Platinum. You got some other things going on, young lady.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you're an entrepreneur and you are a coach.
Yes.
So which one do you want to focus on first?
Oh, entrepreneur. Kind of any of it. I love just like I said, helping people when they come. I'm always sharing. As an entrepreneur, I have a woman's mobile boutique. Matter of fact, me and another young lady we hosting a all female comedy show, which will be on February the 16th, 2024. So preparing for that. And as you know, I do a live at 2 o'clock on Fridays myself called the Word Scope. So that's
Okay.
on Facebook. Y'all want to show up. But even coaching, I did coaching more when I was in my mastermind. I still do it and I'm still available for it. But I just said I didn't want to overwhelm myself. And I'm kind of like, Lord, where am I supposed to be? Because when you got so many talents, you got to kind of focus in on that one that that the in my case where I feel where the Lord really wants me at. And so
Yes.
I was teaching online courses, and then the Lord like, you need to go back to teach Sunday school. I'm like, really? You want me to teach Sunday school? So I teach Sunday school. I taught it like maybe 7 years ago. And so I just started back with that in April. I'm like, okay, teaching teenagers, which is good. So I enjoy whatever I can do to teach others to be better about themselves, know about the Lord, whatever the case may be. If I can help somebody, then as I say, I know my life is not being lived in vain.
Well,
You
you
know
know
what I
what?
mean?
You really have proven to me and a lot of other people that you are a servant leader at heart. And when I processed what you were sharing about your on the run story being, showing off in school and being, held back, girl, you were finding your voice. I mean,
Yeah.
and the teachers didn't understand that a lot of God special people who really got a gift to share with the world, they just blurted out. They just
Mhm.
like, I want something, I want to say something. I have something to say. I want to let you all know what resides in me, what dwells within me, and everything. And you knew it about yourself early on. So you did not get held back because you didn't know something. You were just focusing more on that creative mind of yours, that
Mhm.
right side of the brain, and you just wanted to show your skills. And I feel that in you, and you wanted to show by serving people, how you can make them laugh and make them smile and learn at the same time. So you had tapped into your gift a long time ago, young lady.
But see, I didn't realize that. And I'm gonna say something real quick. When you said that, reminds me when I was had been about 11 years old. No, look, maybe around 11, 10, between that age. And I never give was a lady sitting. She was our neighbor, and she had all these kids. And all the kids would gravitate to her. And
Yes.
I saw her like 25 years later. This when I had started my acting career, and I saw her, and we were just talking, and because she was a mortician at the funeral home when my niece's father had passed away. And so I went to visit her, and we were talking. She said, "What are you doing these days?" I said, "Oh, I was all excited. I'm acting now. And I got a couple, movies and done some commercials." You know what she said to me? She said, "Oh, that's interesting." She said, "I'll never forget. I remember when we used to sit, she was asking us what we want to do when we grow up. She said, I'll never forget you rolled your eyes and smack your lips and say, I'm going to be a movie star when I grow up." So that was so interesting that she said it. I was like, I said that to you? And it's so interesting because sometimes I say things to people that really motivated them, cheered them up or whatever, and I don't remember.
It's okay. But you know what? it's not it's that's how life works.
Mhm.
What you were put on this earth to do, you may not have no control over it, but as long as you stay connected with God, he's going to reveal it when he know you're ready to deliver it in excellence. So you may not have been taught excellent in the beginning, as you say, and only thing we focused on was getting a job, but God knew where to put us in the right
That's right.
doors to
Amen.
learn excellence so that we can show up the way we're showing up today. And I want to thank you for showing up the way you're showing up today. I want to
Amen.
just highlight a few people who came on, to let them know that we truly appreciate them. George Stevens, she is the national president for an organization called American Mothers Inc. She showed up at the top of the show. I just want to thank her for coming on. Joyce, I love you. I love supporting the American Mothers Organization. There's a number that I always talk about, guys, and it's called the power of five. And five from God means grace and power.
Mm.
And those who God give grace to, and those who God gives power to, magical things happen. So honestly, 10 years ago for American Mothers, I was named the Maryland Mother of Achievement in
Oh,
Maryland, the Power of Five,
congratulations.
10 years ago. This year, 2023, I'm serving on the national board as the Area 5 coordinator,
All
which
right.
for American Mothers. And I'll share more about that with you all later. But right now, we're trying to find that power number here. Um,
Mhm.
Platinum, do you have a power number?
Yeah, between 7 and 8.
Between 7 and 8. Okay, you
Well,
hit
I
me
like
with the
7 or
nerves.
8. So 7 and 8. 7 complete, 8 mean new.
Ooh, now look at that wisdom there. I love it. I love it. I love it. I tell you, Platinum, we're at the top of the show. You've shared some phenomenal information with us. I'm going to have Chris share the Rose's ninth annual Leading Within conference promo video again, and then when we come back, we're going to ask how we can get your contact, how people can
Okay.
connect with you on social media, so that they can continue to retain you for your skills.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
Chris.
All
Awesome.
right.
Look, we be dancing behind the
Love
scenes,
it.
don't we? That kind of music be kind
I
of rocking,
know. I
don't it?
love it.
We
I
done
love
dancing,
it.
Sharon Lee on the run, and now our little video promo. We got another one coming too that Dana Park is going to write for us for our conference and our future podcast show. But guys,
Amen.
hasn't this been wonderful? Hasn't this been great just to
Yeah.
learn about Platinum and her platform? But there's one thing I forgot to ask Platinum before we end. You also are entrepreneur, and you do fashion. You have
Mhm.
a store. Tell us about that really quick, and then share.
I just have it's a woman's mobile boutique, and so pretty much it's a mobile boutique. But I do, house stuff at my house. People can call me like by appointment, but I'm really trying to get rid of that inventory and work on some other stuff.
Okay, so what kind of fashion, what kind of clothes do you sell?
Sell women, Afrocentric, uh, casual, and some maybe dressy items, a little
Okay.
more after 5, but most of them between Afrocentric and casual.
Well, when you were at Willie Jolly's one man show, I purchased a T-shirt from you,
Oh,
and I'm
you
still
remember?
rocking that T-shirt right now, man. That's a nice T-shirt.
Oh, and I do have those. Yeah, I have. A matter of fact, I even made them in sweatshirts as well. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, so how can one get in contact with you? And I hope you put your information in the comments so that people can remember
I
how they
created
connect with you on Instagram.
so on Instagram, Platinum for Laughs. I know Facebook, Platinum Platinum hyphen Maryland. Instagram, I believe Platinum Marilyn Franklin. So it's Platinum hyphen Marilyn Franklin. I think on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to go to like the boutique, which I haven't done in a while, but that's Destined Styles Fashion. There's some other people in it too. And you can email me at platinum4laughs@gmail.com. That's platinum4FOR, laughs with an S.com. I don't know if I can put it up here. Yeah, Platinum for Laughs. That's one way. On my website. So I took down my boutique website because I'm really just trying to sell my inventory and get rid of what I have.
Okay.
But yeah, but you can give me Platinum for Laughs or on Facebook.
Okay. Well, I tell you guys, thank you, Platinum, for doing a wonderful, wonderful interview. Again, thank you to all of our sponsors who have supported the Sharon Lee Briefing Podcast Show: Crystal Glenn, Lisa Dove Washington, Sean Parker, also Dana Parker, Valoria Evans, Lynn Simpson, Cynthia Lane, Tanique Parker. I'm going to call my team out. I want to thank Lucky. I want to thank Miss Emma Ward. I want to thank Abba Washington. Over the years, you all been just working with Rosa, just doing what you need to do. I also want to thank all of those who gave me a chance to find my voice. American Mothers, Joyce Stevens, and the prior national presidents, the Maryland Association for American Mothers, Maria Thorpe, who's the president for Maryland now. We're doing some phenomenal stuff. Guys, we need to build that true synergy. When I wrote that book, when that book was written 6 years ago, this is what it's all about. You have to level up more and create opportunities for others. That's how you build true synergy. That's how you change societies, when you're giving back. And that's what we've been doing for 15 years at Rosa, giving back, sharing stories. And to hear Platinum share her stories, she's in direct alignment with our legacy building platform. It's been an honor to have you. Just know that you can share this video out. For those who may watch this podcast show later, do not hesitate to share it on your Facebook groups, your pages, inbox people. This is what legacy building, guys, is all about. So with that being said, Platinum, stay behind the scenes. We're going to do a photo op in the green room. Guys, this Friday has been awesome, and you can go outside. I know a lot of y'all outside are enjoying that weather. Isn't the weather great here in Maryland?
Oh, yeah.
It's like 80 degrees, and it's not humid. It's just wonderful. Chris, thank you. If you could take us out with the theme song, we can just get this weekend started. Thank you, Platinum. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank everybody for showing up.
Synergy, energy, living legends are reaching me. Sharing knowledge with you and me, teaching us how to lead with Sharon Lee.